Shalom, brothers and sisters in Yahweh, and welcome to another study in Jubilees. Tonight, we'll be doing chapters 46, 47, and 48. So if you've got a Dead Sea Scrolls book, go ahead and grab it, and we'll get started tonight. Hope everybody had a great weekend, and now we get to look forward to another week. And I hope it's a good one for you. Alright, let's get started tonight. Yeah, it's getting chilly out here. The days aren't too bad, but boy, once it gets at night, once the sun goes down, it starts to get a little nipply out here. Alright. The Book of Jubilees, chapter 46. It happened that after the death of Jacob, the children of Israel continued to multiply in the land of Egypt, and Mitzrayim, and they became a great nation, and they were in one accord of heart, so that brother loved brother, and every man helped his brother. They increased abundantly and multiplied greatly, 10 weeks of years, all the days of the life of Joseph. There was neither Satan nor any evil in all the days of the life of Joseph after his father Jacob had died, because all the Egyptians respected the children of Israel all the days of the life of Joseph. Joseph died, being 110 years old. He lived 17 years in the land of Canaan, and 10 years he was a servant, and 3 years in prison. And 80 years he was under the king, ruling all of the land of Egypt. He died, and so did all his brothers, and all of that generation. But he commanded the children of Israel before he died, that they should carry his bones with them when they went out from the land of Egypt. And he made them swear regarding his bones, because he knew that the Egyptians would not bring his bones out of Egypt or bury him in the land of Canaan, because while dwelling in the land of Assyria, King Macmaron, the king of Canaan, fought against Egypt in the land, and killed the king of Egypt there, and pursued the Egyptians to the gates of Ermon. But he was not able to enter, because another king, a new king, had become king of Egypt, and he was stronger than he, Macmaron. And he was returned to the land of Canaan, and the gates of Egypt were closed, so that none came or went from Egypt. Joseph died in the 46th Jubilee, in the 6th week, in the 2nd year, and they buried him in the land of Egypt, and all his brothers died after him. The king of Egypt went to war against the king of Canaan in the 47th Jubilee, in the 2nd week, in the 2nd year. And the children of Israel brought out all the bones of the children of Jacob, except the bones of Joseph, and they buried them in the field, in the double cave, in the mountain. Then most of them returned to Egypt, but a few of them remained in the mountains of Hebron, and Amram, your father, remained with them. The king of Canaan was victorious over the king of Egypt, and he closed the gates of Egypt. He devised an evil plan against the children of Israel to afflict them. He said to the people of Egypt, "Look, the people of the children of Israel have increased and multiplied more than we. Let us use wisdom and deal with them before they become too many. Let us make them our slaves before we go to war, and they rise up against us on the side of our enemies. Before they leave and fight against us, let us do this, because their hearts and faces are toward the land of Canaan." He set over them taskmasters to enforce slavery, and they built strong cities for Pharaoh, Pithom, and Rames, and they built all the walls and all the fortifications which had fallen in the cities of Egypt. They enslaved them with the harshness, and the more they were evil toward them, the more they increased and multiplied. And the people of Egypt despised the children of Israel. Chapter 47. In the 7th week, in the 7th year, in the 47th Jubilee, your father went out from the land of Canaan, and you, Moses, were born in the 4th week, in the 6th year of it, in the 48th Jubilee. This was the time of tribulation for the children of Israel. Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, issued a command ordering them to throw all their newborn male children into the river. And they threw them into the river for 7 months, until the day that you were born. It is said that your mother hid you for 3 months. She made an ark for you, and covered it with pitch and tar, and placed it in the reeds on the bank of the river. She placed you in it 7 days. Your mother came by night and nursed you. By day, Miriam, your sister, guarded you from the birds. In those days, Tarmuth, the daughter of Pharaoh, came to bathe in the river, and she heard you crying. She told her maids to bring you out, and they brought you to her. She took you out of the ark, and she had compassion on you. Your sister said to her, "Shall I go and call to you one of the Hebrew women to nurse this baby for you?" And she said to her, "Go." Your sister went and called your mother, Jochebed, and Pharaoh's daughter gave her wages to employ her, and she nursed you. Afterwards, when you grew up, they brought you to the daughter of Pharaoh, and you became her son. Amram, your father, taught you writing, and after you had completed 3 weeks, which is 27 years, they brought you into the royal court. They were 3 weeks of years at court until the time when you went out from the royal court and saw an Egyptian beating your friend who was of the children of Israel, and you killed him and hid him in the sand. On the 2nd day you came across 2 children of Israel quarreling together, and you asked the one who was doing wrong, "Why did you hit your brother?" He was angry and indignant and said, "Who made you a prince and a judge over us? Do you want to kill me like you killed the Egyptian yesterday?" You were afraid, and you fled on because of these words. Chapter 48. In the 6th year of the 3rd week of the 49th Jubilee, you fled and went to live in the land of Midian for 5 weeks and 1 year. You returned to Egypt in the 2nd week, in the 2nd year, in the 50th Jubilee. You know what he said to you on Mount Sinai, and what Prince Mastema desired to do with you when you returned to Egypt. Did he, Mastema, not seek to kill you with all his power and to deliver the Egyptians from your hand when he saw that you were sent to execute judgment and take revenge on the Egyptians? But I delivered you out of his hand, and you performed the signs and wonders which you were sent to perform in Egypt against Pharaoh, and against all of his household, and against his servants and his people. The Elohim exacted a great vengeance on them for Israel's sake, and struck them through the plagues of blood, frogs, lice, dog-flies, malignant boils, breaking out in the pustules, the death of their cattle, and the plague of hailstones. He destroyed everything that grew from them by plagues of locusts, which devoured the remainder left by the hail, and by darkness, and by the death of the firstborn of men and animals. The Elohim took vengeance on all of their idols, and burned them with fire. Everything was sent through your hand, that you should declare these things before they were done. You spoke with the king of Egypt in the presence of all his servants, and in the presence of his people, and everything took place according to your words. 10 great and terrible judgments came on the land of Egypt, so that you might execute vengeance on Egypt for Israel. And the Elohim did everything for Israel's sake, according to his covenant, which he had ordained with Abraham. He took vengeance on them because they had brought them by force into bondage. Prince Mastema stood against you and sought to deliver you into the hands of Pharaoh. He helped the Egyptian sorcerers when they stood up and committed the evil acts they did in your presence. Indeed, we permitted them to work, but the remedies we did not allow to be worked by their hands. The Elohim struck them with malignant ulcers, and they were not able to stand. They could not perform a single sign because we destroyed them. Even after all of these signs and wonders, Prince Mastema was not put to shame because he took courage and cried to the Egyptians to pursue you with all the power the Egyptians had, with their chariots and with their horses, and with all the hosts of the peoples of Egypt. But I stood between the Egyptians and Israel, and we delivered Israel out of his hand, and out of the hand of his people. The Elohim brought them through the middle of the sea, as if it were dry land. Yahweh, our Elohim, threw all the people whom he, Mastema, brought to pursue Israel into the middle of the sea, into the depths of the bottomless pit, beneath the children of Israel, even as the people of Egypt had thrown their children into the river. He took vengeance on 1,000,000 of them. In addition to 1,000 strong and energetic men were destroyed because of the death of the suckling children of your people, which they had thrown into the river. On the 14th day, and on the 15th, and on the 15th, and on the 16th, and on the 17th, and on the 18th days, Prince Mastema was bound and imprisoned and placed behind the children of Israel, so that he might not accuse them. On the 19th day, we let them, Mastema and his demons, loose, so that they might help the Egyptians pursue the children of Israel. He hardened their hearts and made them stubborn, and the plan was devised by the Elohim, Yahweh, that he might strike the Egyptians and throw them into the sea. On the 14th day we bound him, that he might not accuse the children of Israel, on the day when they asked the Egyptians for vessels and garments, vessels of silver and vessels of gold, and vessels of bronze, in order to exact from the Egyptians a price in return for the bondage they had been forced to serve. We did not lead the children of Israel from Egypt empty-handed. And that is the end of chapter 48. We're going to save the end of this for one more study because there's 2 more chapters in the Book of Jubilees. But we're going to save them for the next study. This has been a really good study, gang, and I hope y'all have gotten a lot out of it. Here again, if you are new to studying the Bible, please go back to Bereshith, back to Genesis. Start in chapter 1, verse 1, and work your way forward through the Bible. Don't jump around. You're going to get confused if you do that. And then you're going to get frustrated and you're going to stop doing your studies. Please don't do that. Start in the beginning and work your way forward. And when you get to Genesis 6, or even all the way through Genesis, I say that you probably should get all the way through Genesis so that you have a basic understanding of Genesis before you start to tackle the extra-canonicals. Because the extra-canonicals are the crayons that color in the Bible. but you will have so much trouble understanding them if you don't have a basic knowledge of the Bible. Enoch is very deep. Enoch is where chapter 6 of Genesis leaves a big empty space, but Enoch fills in that space, and it really fills it in. But without a basic knowledge, you're going to have a lot of trouble understanding a lot of things that are going on in Enoch. Same with Jubilees. If you don't have a basic understanding of Genesis, you're going to have a lot of problems understanding Jubilees. So please, go back and start at the beginning. Read it completely. Digest it slowly so that you understand. The genealogies are important. You have to know the genealogies in order to understand other parts of the Bible and the extra-canonicals. So please do yourself a favor and pay attention to those things. You don't have to follow the videos. It'd probably be good if you did, because that way you'd have a basis to understand because of the way that I go through them. But you don't have to. You can read it on your own. Read it with your family. Read it with your friends. Read it with your Bible study. Read it with the people in your church. And get an understanding of our Elohim, Yahweh, the Most High. And understand how Yehoshua, our Messiah, has been there from the beginning. He did not just appear in the renewed covenant in the New Testament. It's not just he appeared. He's been there from the beginning. And several times he's been on the earth. And if you go through the studies, then you'll understand and you'll see where Yehoshua has been on the earth many times, guiding men. Well, gang, I think that's all I've got for you tonight. I know it's kind of a short study, but let's save the end until Thursday's study. Okay? Alright. And then we'll finish up Jubilees. Our next extra-canonical is going to be the Book of Jasher. And for the Book of Jasher, you better sharpen up your crayons, because there's going to be a lot of coloring in on that book. And it's really enjoyable. So, anyway, Yah bless each and every one of you. Enjoy your week. Okay? And we will see you for our midweek Bible study. Y'all have a great night. Shalom.